I was so intrigued how Hugh was going to turn his infamously unsatisfactory character in order to present me with this prize, and he didn't bother. It was just, I'm so thrilled. He's never been able to act much, and it would have been beyond, it probably would have been beyond his scope. But by the way, I do recommend this new film. He's in this documentary called The Heretic about Hugh's home life, which is very touching. But look, I thank you so much. People are always kind. My son Charlie, when he heard about this, I overheard him describing it to his girlfriend as the Oscar for people who never made a movie good enough to win an Oscar, and I accept that. And then actually he watched that film, and he said to me afterwards, he said, "You couldn't get anyone else to be nice about you. You had to get Mum. That's the best you could do." But look, when you get something like this and you've been doing this kind of work, obviously when I get home I'll have to melt it down and share it. And the person who I would most share this with is Emma, who you saw in the film. All of this has been, we've done this together. She's been sort of blazing and beautiful in her passion for this work. The actual Queen of England gave her an OBE for her services, which stands for Order of the British Empire, but obviously for me stands for obviously Best Emma. And then I would have to, share it all with all the wonderful teams. There are so many people who've worked on this stuff over the years. Comic Relief, Red Nose Day, Project Everyone, Make My Money Matter, the UN, and Hugh was right. I mean, I looked at the list of people who are coming, and I think I counted something like 56, including the Bond team and Daniel, who've done amazing things with us over the years. So thank you. I've just been a sort of lubricant to try and bring everyone together. So thank you all enormously. And then, as you all know who do anything in this field, the Oscar should really be in the hands of the people who, work in the projects that we've supported all over the years. Tonight, as we're so happy here, there are so many men and women and children at home and abroad who are living in real fear, in pain, choosing between food and medicine, cowering from an abuser behind a door, on the streets they have no home, on the road, fleeing homes they love, and always waiting for them at the end of the difficult roads are these amazing charity workers who work they work for minimum wage or no wage at all, and it's been my honor to serve them, and they deserve awards every day. But I'm the lucky one tonight, and I hope I can just say a couple of specific things to you. First, I have been hugely impressed over the years by the way that so many of you here give so much of your time and money and reputation to the causes that you are passionate about, working so hard in so many diverse areas. I think it is a particular thing in American show business, and it's fucking great, and congratulations to all of you. But also, I congratulate you for the movies that you make. My movies are simple things, don't require much acting, made to create joy, and I obviously think that's the most brilliant thing to do with your time. But many of you make movies that tell more serious stories and get to places in people's minds that news and information can never get to. And they help people feel the truth. You know, I could give you so many examples. I didn't really understand AIDS till I saw Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. I didn't want to campaign for the environment until I saw Julia and Erin Brockovich. I remember seeing this film, I don't recommend it, it's too grim, called Lilia Forever by Lucas Moodysson, and our charity started fighting against sex trafficking. These are, you know, unbelievably important thing to make movies that change and challenge people's hearts and minds. And they do change the world, and, you know, all hail to you who do it. But the thing in a way I'd like to say tonight, as a campaigner in my bones, is I would just ask one question. I think sometimes, too often, that we stop just before the final lap of the race. Powerful films and TV shows are made, and everyone just sort of hopes they'll help change things. And they don't take the final step to create a mechanism in the actual production that helps to change things. That's why so many of us mourned the demise of Participant, because it was an impact-based film company. And I would just plead with everyone here, when you make a film or a show with a powerful social message, an empowering, positive message like Barbie or Inside Out, to put aside a small fraction of your budget in advance to pay for an impact producer. Because when films have a dedicated person or team to take the film and use it for campaigning, for targeted education, for changing laws, when films get shown to the right people in power at the right time, when films are linked to the right charities, amazing things can happen. And for the same amount of cash that you'd spend on a few more ads, an impact producer can help your film do more than move people. It can actually save and change real lives. So I just take advantage of tonight to say that, and if any of you are interested, because I've been looking into it and doing more on it, I'd be helpful to share any of the wisdom that I've gleaned, and you can send a note to my agent, David Kramer at UTA. I should have mentioned this, David. I assume he's got an email. But basically what I'm saying is let's sweat our assets in order to make lemonade. You do have to squeeze the lemons. You just can't hope they will get squeezed by someone else. And so now it's been a very strange fortnight. I think we all acknowledge that. Many of us have been very thrown and very worried, but I would just say, you know, it's always been a fight. And I will never believe that the optimism that's driven my films and my charity and campaigning work is naivety. On the broader scale, observably, on our watch, this generation, since the year 2000, child mortality in under fives has dropped from 10 million to 5 million per year, one of the great achievements of human civilization. And my lived experience is that every time we think of a new way to open a door, to give people creative ways to be generous, that millions of people pour through and do the right thing. So I would say, you know, to everyone who's been sad in the last few weeks, not to stop believing. And as some of you may have spotted in my films, basically they're just glued together by pop songs. So I'll sneak out of this one by the pop song that's been on my mind in the last few weeks, because we're all under a new kind of pressure. And I was thinking of that line from Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure, and they remind us that in dark times the catalyst that will ultimately make the difference to most people will not be violence, will not be aggression, will be, as they put it, love, though it's so slashed and torn, and it's an old-fashioned word, but it dares you to care for people on the edge of the night and find a new way of caring. And thank you for your love tonight.